It's not every day that someone makes a public declaration that they're going to marry you. This could be one of those romantic stories about love at first sight and destiny. It's not. It started with a boring Tinder date. We talk about hiking in Shenandoah, what we're watching on Netflix. He's nice, but on the whole, it's pretty blah. The thing that was interesting about Nick, we're going to call him Nick, is that he ran a meetup group on Facebook for people who are new to the DC area. And I think, well, that's perfect for me because I was still new to the area and I was looking to make friends. So as I'm sitting across from him, I join his meetup group, and for good measure, I add him as a Facebook friend. I need to emphasize that these are two separate actions. I join his group, and I add him as a friend. Two things. The next day, he asks me to go to a concert with him the following week, and I hesitate, because I didn't think that the first date was that interesting. But then I kind of talk myself into it because it wasn't a bad date, it was just kind of boring. But some people warm up more on the second date, and he was a nice guy, so I agreed to go to the concert with him. That weekend, I'm scrolling through Facebook when I see a post from him with the word Tinder in it. So I click on it, and for the very first time, I look at Nick's personal Facebook profile. I scroll down a ways and discover a post that says, "I don't want to jinx it or nothing, but I'm pretty sure I just met the woman I'm going to marry." He posted that right after our date. So apparently we had very different experiences of the evening. Someone had replied to this post, "Are you two Facebook friends?" And she'll go home and see your post and freak out. To which he had responded, "No, I'm not a moron." So apparently, he added me to his meetup group and as a Facebook friend without realizing he had done both, so he doesn't know that I can see this. A few hours after his post about potentially marrying me, he followed up with, "I totally jinxed it because she hasn't responded to the post-meet text. The wedding is off." But 2 days later, when I agreed to go to the concert with him, he wrote, "Second date status achieved. That was the most stressful 48 hours of my life." Nick had thousands of Facebook friends, and they were very engaged. So anything he posted would get about 40 comments on it, and he would post things like, "What should I wear today?" with pictures, with different options that people could vote on. This is back when influencer culture was just beginning to be a thing, so this behavior still looked weird to me. So people were very actively commenting on these posts about the highs and lows of him trying to land a second date with me. And I become just as intrigued as everyone else. When suddenly he writes, "I have a first date with someone else from Tinder. Made the date before the first date with this new possible future wife. Almost feels like I'm cheating on her, but I can't bail on it now." And then, when that date is over, he writes, "Just finished my date, and it was fantastic too, and the chemistry was on point, as was the goodnight kiss. I'm so torn now." And that's when his profile becomes straight up an episode of The Bachelor. It's like, who's going to get the rose? He has second dates set up with me and the other woman, and he starts describing us, calling me S and her M. At one point, he posts screenshots of our text to him for his friends to compare and comment on. And for the record, hers had a typo. So mine was clearly the superior option. And his friends were giving him all kinds of useful advice, like be polyamorous and keep them both, or make a list of must-haves and see which girl fits it best. Or my personal favorite, make them cage fight. To the death. So I'm looking at all of this thinking, what do I do with this information? Do I pretend I haven't seen this to spare his feelings? Do I not go on the date? And then I think, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna be the best second date he's ever had. I'm gonna blow M out of the water. I'm gonna be witty and charming and dazzle him with all my funny stories, and I don't really care about dating him at this point. I just want to get the best review. So we're going out to dinner before the concert, and I'm so pumped for this date, like, I'm ready. Game face. We get to the restaurant, and the first thing he does is take a picture of the menu and put it on Facebook. And suddenly I blank. I can't think of a single thing to say to this guy because everything I do is going on Facebook. Everything I say is going on Facebook, so I can't think of anything to say. He tries to get a conversation going by asking me questions, but the restaurant is so loud that he can't hear the answers anyway, so it gets real awkward. The concert goes a bit better. Some of his friends also went. That takes a bit of the pressure off. We see Regina Spektor. She's fantastic. By the end of the evening, I know the date hasn't been the best, but I don't think it's been a disaster. But in the Uber home, I have to check my review. He had not actually waited until the date was over to post his review of me. Oh no. No. He posted it while I was in the bathroom at the restaurant. This is what he said. This is going terribly. Lots of L's, lots of Y's. She doesn't talk, like, at all. Now I gotta go to a concert with her. And then I get to see all the comments from his friends about what a bad date I am and what a bad conversationalist I am. And I know that I don't know them and I know that they don't know me, but it is still devastating. So I can't let it go. I click on this post and I write a comment. Looks like you won't be marrying her then, wink. And I wait. About 30 minutes later, I get a text from him. Hey, sorry, I didn't realize that we were friends on Facebook, but that's no excuse. Really apologize. Unforgivable. Wish you all the best, and sorry that I'm literally the worst person in the world. I write back, I was really uncomfortable being around you, knowing that you would review me on Facebook afterwards. I do normally talk. And then he tries to redeem the situation by asking me on a hike that weekend, to which I politely decline. He unfriended me. A few years later, I had just ended a long-term relationship. It is very late on a Friday night, and I am very sad. These are, of course, the perfect conditions for launching a new dating profile. So I open OkCupid, fill it out, launch it, and almost immediately, I have a message. Why do you look so familiar? To which I reply, and I'm still not gonna marry you, Nick, but thanks for saying hi.